You were selected and born with a great purpose. The cosmos has predetermined every step you take, directing you toward a destiny that only you can complete. Watching this film today is not an accident. It is part of a divine design. The cosmos has summoned you here because a significant transition is going to occur in your life in the coming days. This change will permanently alter your path, bringing you closer to the purpose you were born to carry out. The universe understands that bringing your mission to life may include the use of resources, including income. And just when you need it, a fantastic chance will arise. Imagine you're going about your daily routine when, out of nowhere, a government figure with hidden information comes. Someone with insights into secrets beyond most people's comprehension. It appears almost incredible, doesn't it? But this encounter was divinely prepared. Today, we will look at how everything is perfectly aligned for you, the chosen one, to come into your destiny of plenty, serenity, and purpose. You'll realize that nothing in your life has been left to chance. Before this fascinating adventure begins, feel free to interact with the energy of this channel by commenting 999 as a signal to the cosmos, or subscribing to the God Connection. The narrative starts with an unexpected encounter. It's a normal day, with the regular bustle of the city surrounding you. A knock on your door interrupts the rhythm. It starts out quiet and somewhat timid, but when you don't reply straight away, it becomes more forceful. You open the door, expecting to see a neighbor or a friend, only to be met by a stranger who exudes mystery. The guy before you wears a plain outfit that radiates quiet authority. You don't recognize them, and they make no attempt to identify themselves. Instead, they offer you a letter, a huge, heavy envelope with a seal that immediately draws your attention. The seal is unlike anything you've seen before. It shimmers slightly in the light, a complex design of spirals and symbols that appear almost lifelike. When you touch it, hidden intricacies emerge, winged eyes, ancient calligraphy, and marks that appear to pulse with electricity. Your fingers quiver slightly as you open the seal. A peculiar sensation washes over you, like a rush running down your spine. Inside, the handwriting is delicate and precise, with each letter carefully fashioned, as if the writer understood the meaning of every single word. The message is concise yet powerful. Your presence is sought by James, a man selected by divine intent. He holds knowledge beyond mortal comprehension. Be prepared, since he knows more than you think. The weight of these words hangs in the air long after you've read them, resonating with almost supernatural intensity. This man, James, is no ordinary government officer. According to rumors, he was selected by celestial forces and possesses immense authority and spiritual perception. Some claim he possesses the talent of prophecy, seeing into the world's hidden realities and knowing the futures of people he encounters. You gaze up at the stranger, hoping for some explanation, but they just nod, a quiet affirmation of the letter's importance, before turning and retreating into the distance. You are left standing there, pulse beating, mind racing with questions. Why you? What does a person selected by God desire for someone like you? As you hold the letter, your everyday worries, work, housework, plans, fade into the background. The world around you appears to have moved slightly, as if an invisible hand has pushed everything off track. At that point, you realize you have no option but to continue down this path and find the answers that await you. The letter offers no indication of what this meeting will entail, only a subtle hint that this man knows more about you than you would like to admit. It alluded to secrets, possibly pieces of your history, hidden faults, or something you don't completely grasp about yourself. It's as if this invitation has the power to reveal the most intimate aspects of your soul, things you've kept concealed from the world and even yourself. With a mixture of trepidation and excitement, you understand that this encounter is unavoidable. You feel driven to go, despite the unknown that awaits you. You grasp the letter hard, realizing that this is no ordinary occasion. The universe has prepared a road for you, and now is the time to walk it. The chosen meeting location is not a government office or public area. Instead, it's a quiet chamber brimming with antiquities and artifacts that exude an almost supernatural atmosphere. You go through new regions of the city, leaving behind the congested streets and hectic traffic. You journey to new territory, locations that appear to be cut off from the rest of the globe, as if you've entered another dimension. When you enter the chamber, you are taken aback by its size. The walls are ornamented with things from the past, each having a history and meaning that beyond description. Statues with ancient inscriptions, glittering gems, and items that appear to carry stories from other realms surround you. The air is dense with mystery, a sensation that you are on the verge of something huge. You're standing there, soaking it all in, when suddenly a person comes in the doorway. This is James, the man you have come to meet. He seems calm, even tranquil, yet his eyes are piercing and penetrating. Something about him exudes wisdom and power, a presence that simultaneously humbles and reassures you. You understand that this is no ordinary meeting. He welcomes you with a deep and steady voice, full of a knowledge that defies explanation. He reveals information about you that no one else could possibly know. He discusses events in your life, decisions you've made, and roadblocks you've still to face. His words flow like a torrent, breaking past whatever hesitation you could have about the significance of this moment. James shows that you have a greater calling, a purpose that transcends the mundane. He informs you that your life has been planned by forces higher than yourself, and that every experience you've had has prepared you for this task. The hardships, obstacles, and times of uncertainty were all vital milestones in getting you here. He reveals that you have a secret power within you, one that you may have only seen briefly. However, now is the moment for that power to completely awaken. The cosmos is working in your favor, ready to help you in ways you cannot yet conceive. And shortly, an opportunity will come that will provide you with the resources you require to achieve your goals. As you listen, you feel a profound sensation of calm flood over you. The concerns and doubts that had tormented you have vanished, replaced with a deep knowledge. You are precisely where you should be, and everything that has occurred in your life has been part of a larger plan. After the meeting, you leave the chamber with a renewed feeling of purpose. The city feels different, as if you're experiencing it through new eyes. You stroll confidently, knowing that you are on the right road. The words of James reverberate in your head, and you can feel the weight of his wisdom settle within you. The cosmos has chosen this time to awaken you and guide you to the fulfillment of your destiny. And while the road may still be difficult, you know you are not alone. Divine powers are at work, paving the road for you and ensuring that you have all you require to succeed. If this message speaks to you, let the universe know. Comment 999 below and subscribe to God Connection to keep in tune with this holy energy. Embrace the adventure. And remember that you were created with a purpose that only you can achieve. Every step, every interaction brings you closer to the life you were destined to live. The cosmos is on your side, ready to help you as you pursue your goal. The city hums with life. The streets have a familiar rhythm until an unexpected knock on the door disrupts the flow of your day. The knock begins softly, almost hesitantly, but soon grows persistent, as if whomever is outside will not go without an answer. Expecting a delivery or a neighbor, you open the door to see a stranger standing there. This guest is not an ordinary person. The stranger stands tall and collected, dressed in clothes that exudes authority and mystery. Without saying anything, he extends his hand and hands you a letter. The letter is unlike anything you have ever seen. It's heavy, with thick, rich paper, and sealed with a wax symbol that almost sparkles in the light. As you inspect the seal, you find fascinating patterns entwined within it, spirals and inscriptions that appear to move beneath your sight, as if imbued with ancient energy. The drawings have flying eyes and weird features that appear nearly lifelike. Your fingers quiver as you break the seal, curiosity overpowering any concerns. The calligraphy within is exquisite, with each letter meticulously fashioned, as if the author appreciated the significance of each stroke. The message begins with the following: "Your presence is requested by James, a man of unique knowledge and purpose. Come prepared, for he knows more about you than you might expect." The words stay in your head, eliciting a mixture of fascination and dread. Who is this individual named James? Why should he know anything about you? You return your gaze to the messenger, hoping for some explanation, but he merely gives you a curt nod before turning to depart, vanishing into the city's bustle as quietly as he arrived. When you're alone with the letter, you realize that your usual concerns, work, social commitments, the ordinary routine of life, seem unimportant. This invitation is a summons to something special, and you feel compelled to reply. Clutching the letter, you prepare for what is ahead, knowing deep down that this encounter has the potential to change everything. The directions take you to an unknown region of the city. As you proceed, the streets narrow and the buildings get higher and older, carrying the signs of bygone eras. Eventually, you reach a towering archway, its surface engraved with patterns that appear to alter as you gaze at them. There are no signs or obvious indications of where you are, only the impression that this location is concealed from the unwelcome. You pass through the archway and find yourself in a dimly lighted hallway. The walls, composed of dark, polished stone, appear to absorb light, contributing to the space's alien atmosphere. Each step you take echoes gently, as if the air itself is filled with secrets. At the end of the corridor, there are two large doors adorned with symbols identical to those found on the letter's seal. Taking a deep breath, you open the doors and enter a huge chamber. The area is large, with a ceiling that fades into shadow, lighted by a constellation of candles positioned at various heights. The light shows a collection of old objects and relics, each one a relic from a bygone era, set on pedestals of marble and dark wood. These things appear to pulse with an unknown sensation. In the center of the chamber is a massive throne-like chair fashioned from dark wood and positioned as if it dominated the space. Behind it, a large window extends from floor to ceiling, framing the surrounding cityscape. However, this perspective feels more like a vision than a window. The glass produces a subtle glow, as if imbued with mystical energy, reminding you that you are in the company of something far beyond your everyday reality. You hardly have time to take it all in before you feel another presence. A person emerges from a shadowy place. It's James, the person stated in the letter. His outfit is a tapestry of changing hues, from deep blue to gleaming gold as he approaches. Symbols and elaborate patterns adorn his garments, mimicking the magical motifs carved into the walls and items around you. James's presence is both strong and peaceful. He walks with almost ghostly elegance, and as he approaches, you feel the weight of his gaze fall on you. His eyes have a depth unlike anything you've ever seen. Within them, you see something huge and timeless, as if he holds the wisdom of many generations. He approaches you, stretching out his hands. Markings on his palms light softly and shift in reaction to your sight. It's as if the symbols are alive, speaking a language you can't quite grasp but are captivated to. "Welcome," he says, his voice soft yet resonant, filling the space with a rich tone that appears to resonate in all directions. You have come to a pivotal moment in your life, though you may not yet understand why. James's stare sharpens as if he is reading something concealed within you. He begins to discuss topics he should not know, such as your past decisions, dreams, and anxieties. His comments touch on secrets you thought were long forgotten, dreams you've never dared to confess, and anxieties that lurk in the back of your mind. He seems to look right into your soul. He talks about decisions you made a long time ago that you scarcely remember, but that have affected the trajectory of your life. His expertise is both disturbing and reassuring, as if he knows not just your faults, but also the reasons behind them. His voice softens as he speaks of your objectives, those buried dreams you've never expressed with anybody. Finally, he suggests something that chills you, a dream you've rejected, a possibility you've dismissed because it feels too big, too scary. In that moment, you know that this reunion is about more than simply the past. It is about your potential, a destiny that has yet to be realized. James moves closer, his robes flashing with hues that appear to reflect the intensity of the occasion. "You are here because you have a purpose," he says. "The universe has chosen you for a mission that only you can accomplish. But to succeed, you must confront the truth of who you are and the potential within you." The weight of his remarks hangs in the air, and for a minute the room is completely silent. The walls seem to be listening, bearing witness to this moment of discovery. The antiquities and artifacts around you appear to hum with a gentle vitality, recognizing the significance of what is happening. James points to an exquisite table in the room's center, which holds a single object, a tiny, finely carved box. "Within this box lies the key to your journey," he announces. "But it can only be opened by someone who has come to terms with their own truth." Your pulse rate rises as you approach the box. You reach out and touch it, feeling a burst of electricity go through your fingers. The carvings on the box appear to come alive when touched, throbbing with a rhythm that matches your heartbeat. You take a deep breath and lift the lid. Inside, you'll discover a delicate, shining stone that emits light that appears to change color and strength. Holding it in your palm, you feel a warm sensation radiate throughout your body, calming your rushing thoughts and providing you with a deep sense of tranquility. James looks at you with a knowing gaze. "This stone is a symbol," he explains. "It holds no power on its own, but it represents the strength within you. You are capable of far more than you realize. This journey will test you, but it will also reveal the depth of your resilience and the clarity of your purpose." With that, James steps back, his body once again veiled in shadow. "Remember, you are not alone in this. The universe has guided you to this moment, and it will continue to support you as you move forward." As he talks, the room fades. The candles flicker one by one, and the antiques surrounding you fade into darkness. When you open your eyes again, you're back in your own space, with the letter still in your hand. But something's changed. The experience leaves a lasting impression, as does a renewed feeling of purpose. The weight of everyday existence feels lighter today, as if you've been given a look into something far beyond the routine. You may not know where this route will go, but you are prepared to take it, knowing that each step is part of a bigger, divine plan. You're surprised because, indeed, there are desires you've buried, ambitions you've set aside for pragmatism or fear. The experience of being completely understood is both disconcerting and empowering. However, his demeanor alters, and his discourse takes on a seriousness that transcends individual concerns. "There's more," he adds, moving closer. "I know truths that the rest of the world is unaware of, truths that bind us together." His words appear to pulse through the chamber, as if they recognize their significance. You hold your breath, feeling the weight of a discovery that is far greater than you or any single individual. It is a fact etched into the very fabric of life. He keeps his gaze lowered as he continues. Throughout time, a story has been told, woven into the hearts of those chosen to see beyond the veil. We aren't merely participants. We are the keepers of that story. The gravity of his statement sinks in, and you realize that the knowledge he possesses extends far beyond the limits of ordinary understanding. It has an impact on all aspects of life, including those that are concealed from view. The air feels electrified, almost electric, as the reason for your summoning becomes evident. This is a location where the truth is accepted. Yet fate is never publicly spoken. And as his gaze focuses on yours, you realize you've arrived at a watershed moment in your life. The talk then shifts to a darker tone. The room's illumination dims somewhat as the shadows deepen in reaction to his remarks. Officer James takes a steadying breath, his robes changing to a subdued gray to represent the gravity of his message. Certain forces, he continues, almost whispering, both mortal and divine, are engaged in a game that stretches back to the dawn of civilization. Each word holds historical weight, implying a past far older than you can comprehend. The candles flicker irregularly, leaving agitated shadows, as if the light itself had been upset by the implications. You lean forward, caught between caution and hungry curiosity. His stare is steady, black, and penetrating. You think you know the world, he keeps saying, with its borders and governments, its powerful figures and its economies. But beyond that visible order lies another, a faction that operates in the spaces between stability and chaos. He pauses, letting the severity of the information deep into the skin and capture his attention. Your mind runs, and questions arise as you attempt to absorb this new reality. An unseen network, a cabal that has embedded itself into the very structures you've come to trust, one that transcends physical boundaries. He murmurs, his voice calm. The phrases are unsettling, implying a mysterious influence that transcends belief. They manipulate events from the shadows, he says, influencing outcomes that shape history, determining the fates of kings and commoners alike. Their motivations extend beyond mere wealth or dominance. They play a game that predates all human history, a game that exists outside of time and space. You feel a constriction in your chest as you realize the ramifications. Headlines run across your consciousness, describing seemingly unfathomable international events and power transfers that defy explanation. Could these be the orchestrations of this dark conspiracy, with each step contributing to a scheme beyond mortal comprehension? Your mind rushes as you start to discern patterns in the chaos. And you, he continues softly but firmly, have become a piece on this ancient board. His words hit you like a physical blow, leaving you breathless for a time. His look is intense, full of empathy but still displaying a firm resolve. Your actions have not gone unnoticed, he tells you. You're more deeply entangled in this conflict than you realize. Fear prickles the back of your neck, but there's also a weird thrill. The decisions you've taken, the apparently random occurrences in your life, all of them may have brought you to this point, putting you in a centuries-long war. Silence settles between you, interrupted only by the quiet crackle of candles and the hum of invisible energy emitted from the walls. The officer takes a short step back, his robes changing to a deep blue to match the sad nature of what he is about to convey. "You must understand," he continues, "that the path ahead will challenge everything you believe. The journey will be uncertain, and danger will follow you at every step. But now that you've seen the truth, ignorance is no longer an option. At that point, you realize that your previous life is behind you. You have now entered a realm of shadows, secrets, and a massive game with rules that you are only beginning to understand. The test of loyalty and bravery starts. The air becomes thicker, with tension so dense that it appears to press against your skin. Officer James takes a step closer, his eyes narrowing with such intensity that it takes your breath away. "But you have a choice," he continues, his words settling into the quiet like stones in deep water. This is no ordinary invitation. It's a watershed moment, a decision that will influence not just your own fate, but maybe the fate of countless others. The officer's presence appears to grow, his robes darkening to a gloomy gray, reminiscent of an incoming storm. The enthusiasm in the room is apparent. You feel as if you're on the verge of disaster if you take the wrong action. "You could choose to join the power I represent," he adds, his tone menacing. Behind his eyes, which glitter with a weird blend of knowledge and harshness, you can feel the weight of both promises and hidden threats. The notion of allegiance fills you with both terror and excitement, implying a power that goes beyond political influence, something that has the potential to change history itself. But before you can really comprehend this, his countenance becomes severe, as if to warn you of the cost. "Or you could walk away," he adds, his voice piercing through the tension like a sword. Your mind rushes as you examine the ramifications of leaving. You envision a life filled with uncertainty, a future overshadowed by unstoppable forces beyond your control. To leave now would be to relinquish control over your fate, to remain a pawn in a game you don't comprehend. Know that if we walk this path together, he adds, his voice ringing with finality, it could bring you glory or ruin. A raw emotion crosses his face for a fleeting second, almost vulnerable, but immediately disguised. His gaze searches yours closely, looking for any indication of resolution or doubt. "Everything depends on your loyalty and actions," he continues, his tone stern yet tinged with something more. In that moment, you know this is more than just a proposal. It's a test of your bravery, loyalty, and readiness to enter a realm where light and shade merge and truth and falsehoods dance together. Your decision will define both who you are and what you stand for. As you maintain his eyes, you feel the weight of that decision settle over you, with each syllable revealing facts too vast to comprehend, yet too true to reject. Officer James locks you with an unwavering look, his countenance a blend of seriousness and something more subtle, perhaps empathy or the weight of shared duty. You shift, uneasy beneath the intensity of his stare. The antiques around the room, which were previously simply curiosities, now appear to have a weird meaning, as if the walls are listening. "You come from a lineage far from ordinary," he says, his voice melancholy and inevitably so. There's a feeling there that you can't quite identify. It's not pride or grief, but a somber acceptance of an indisputable reality. Disbelief rushes through you as you recall family memories, peaceful dinners, and faded images that hinted at nothing exceptional. But as he continues to speak, you realize something with almost excruciating certainty. Your heritage dates back to ancient predictions, tales whispered in lost dialects and borne by far winds. The concept is overpowering, and you tighten your fists, desiring anything substantial to center you. How could you, as someone who has faced everyday challenges, be connected to something so vast and monumental? Officer James leans in, his robes changing, the dark blues and silvers echoing the gravity of the situation. His voice drops to a whisper, which fills the room. The future depends on a decision you will soon make, he adds, each word slow, deliberate, and weighty, as if etched into your memory. Your heart is racing, and it feels like the room is tilting, making reality unsteady beneath your feet. As the magnitude of his words sinks in, you get a shudder down your spine. This is no longer about you. It is about historical threads woven long before your birth, strands that now bind you to a single, unavoidable decision. You struggle to collect your thoughts, alternating between terror and a peculiar, hesitant exhilaration. What are the options? What could you possibly conclude that carries so much weight? A flurry of questions arises in your head, but Officer James's focused gaze keeps you mute. He continues, his gaze softening somewhat, implying that he knows the turbulence within you. Choose wisely, he urges, his voice resembling that of a guardian who has witnessed too many rash decisions, for it is not only your life that will be changed, but the fabric of this world. The space is filled with tension, potential energy, and ready to tip in any direction. Each breath feels louder and more significant, as if the air itself is waiting for your choice. You stare at him, hoping for a hint of what he wants you to pick, but his countenance is unreadable, a mask of patience and neutrality. Suddenly, memories you had disregarded emerge, fragments of stories from your ancestors, unusual rituals imposed by your parents, and flashbacks to seemingly insignificant events. These shards begin to snap into place, exposing a reality that had been silently lurking, waiting for the appropriate moment to emerge. And now the time has arrived. As the conference comes to an end, his parting words hang ominously in the air. Remember, every move you perform from this point on will be watched, not just by me, but also by others who want to change this world to their own vision. Go now and tell no one about this. You exit the chamber, the weight of fresh information crushing down on you, an unshakable conviction that your life will never be the same. As you go back into the open air, the landscape around you feels both familiar and unfamiliar. Buildings, streets, and the busy metropolis all look transformed, as if seen through fresh eyes. A nagging question haunts you. What part do you genuinely play in this old game of mortal and supernatural forces?